since
She
we streamed it live,
is amazing.
Dr. Lori is like my fairy godmother, my mother in
Yes.
the industry. Whenever I hear her talk, she makes me want
Yes.
to run through a brick wall in a
She's
positive
phenomenal.
way.
I told her she looks like my sister-in-law.
Okay.
She's a Southern Belle, Louisiana, Central Louisiana. And so whenever I see her, it warms my heart. And she has that little country twang and all that. So
She's got it
Dr.
going
Lori's,
on.
she's phenomenal.
So this is a little bit of an impromptu podcast,
Yes.
and no better place and no better way to do it. I haven't even met you guys yet.
Hey, we just rolled up. Let's get on the podcast.
What's your
You
name?
opened up.
I'm
I'm
Kevin.
Jason Shanley from San Diego City Fire Department.
Nice to meet you.
This is my good brother right here, Rashawn Fulcher.
Rashawn?
And this is soon to be retired Chief Palo Alto Fire Department, Gio Blackshaw.
Gio.
He's on his exit tour, so we would like for him to sing one or two words on his way out.
Negative.
So
Not singing.
What brings you guys here to FRI? Why are you guys here?
I came to get Chief Wolford's challenge coin. I came all the way from San Diego to get this challenge coin. And I must say, she is going to definitely leave her mark in the fire service.
Yeah, how so?
Well, because number one, she's phenomenal. She has her own little style. Like everybody knows, like this is her trademark. The heels. Yeah, that's Chief Wolford's trademark. She's all business. And we're here to support her in her
biz.
All biz. She's all biz. That's one of the reasons. And I didn't even know that was one of the reasons. But that's just one. But plus, because we're all here to represent the Diversity Executive Leadership Program that I had the great opportunity to co-lead this year. And Chief Blackshaw was in the first cohort.
Correct.
And then Rashawn Fulcher is in the current third cohort. So we're here for IDELP. That's me.
So yeah, tell me, what's your role with IDELP and what brings you to FRI?
IDELP, I was a cohort member, I guess you'd say. And so came for the IDELP graduation, see friends, network, stuff like that, reconnected. And
then for you, I hear you're on your way out of fire chief?
I am. Yeah. So this is my finale tour. It's my grand tour of FRI. I've been coming since 2014. I think I came every year since then, except for 2 during COVID years. But yeah, this is my last tour. It's my final tour.
What were some of your biggest life lessons that you took from being fire chief?
Oh, from being fire chief. Oh man, with incredible power comes incredible responsibility. You know, you're relied upon to be a leader of an organization that provides the most pertinent and profound service to the community. It's essential, it's fundamental, but it's also challenging for obvious reasons. But it's just an incredible responsibility to be able to be effective among so many stakeholders, whether it's those that you report to, those that you serve, those that you supervise. It's an incredible responsibility, but extremely rewarding, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
So for you guys here, and thank you for sharing that. And I'd love to double click into IDELP a little bit. For members of the fire service that maybe aren't familiar with it, what are some programs, or how can people get involved and benefit from the Diversity Executive Leadership Program?
So how can they benefit from it?
Yeah, how can they get involved? How can they benefit from it?
Getting involved is obviously talking to your leadership and promoting the idea amongst them that you want to be involved, first of all. But how can they benefit from it? Numerous ways. And in the short time, we won't be able to talk about all of them, but some of them. Are you able to have conversations with different people, different backgrounds, different lived experiences, different ideologies and beliefs, and you're able to find common ground through friction? And the way that's set up is you're set up in an environment where you learn to trust these people, you learn to care about them beyond their titles, their badges, and what they do. You learn to see their humanness, and through seeing their humanness, then you begin to connect with them on whatever the challenge is or the issue is. And through that, you're able to come out with a shared valued perspective, valuing each other and valuing their lived experiences, and with a new way to move forward. And I think that's integral to this fire service as we combine resources, as we collaborate, and as we realize we're more alike than we are different, and our challenges and our solutions come from that place.
Someone else.
Yeah, one of the things I think is interesting, we always talk about in our department that we want our department to reflect the communities that we serve. And we serve a really diverse community, and the fire service in general does. And I think if we're not careful, the fire service is going to end up like the Polaroid camera. It's coming back now as a vintage thing, as a throwback, but its days of value in the quick photos is over now because a new technology has taken over. And my fear is that the fire service is going to become that. If we don't get rid of that motto, that we know it's a fact, or it seems to be a fact that firefighters hate two things: the way things are and change. And so I think we're in a moment now, and IDELP has really championed this idea that we're in a moment that's going to cause for courageous leaders. People talk about courageous conversations. They say that, and I believe in that. But courage is something different. It's easy to go along, to get along. It's easy to kind of go with the crowd and use the mob mentality. But I think we're in a day and age now where we need some change, and that's going to come from people who
How
are
true is
courageous.
that phrase? A firefighter say two things: change in the way things are. I mean, I feel like that, in some ways it holds true, but I feel like, and there's a lot of ways where I feel like that phrase, in terms of some of the progress that I've seen
Yeah, of
firsthand
course.
so
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if I really believe that phrase.
Well, and I think it's a general thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't speak for everybody in general. Obviously, the fire service has made a ton of change, but I think overall, when you see and I think the fire chief may have a really good perspective on that when you're trying to bring something new or to bring a different pant to, a different uniform pant or something like that. But I think you try to increase or do some things in your department, you probably have a good perspective.
Absolutely. It's attributed to firefighting because it's the business we're talking about, but I think it's just human nature that you'll get to a point where you're comfortable. And when you're comfortable, you feel like you can succeed in that platform. I've been doing this a long time this way and I'm good at it. And then when you introduce something different, it becomes disruptive. But I call it positive disruption, where the disruption that you bring has to have some form of benefit. And as a leader, you have to be able to communicate that and convince them that it's a better way of doing that. And there's going to be some resistance, hence the word disruption. But if it's positive disruption, you convince them that it's positive. That's how you eventually get the buy-in. But it's just human nature that, if you've been tying your shoe a certain way, and if someone came and said, I want you to tie it this way, you'd be like, well, hold on, I've been doing it my whole life this way. That, yeah, but the strings will hold tighter and you could do it faster and you'll have to buy into it. And maybe one day learn that it actually worked. But you also have to be courageous that maybe maybe it'll work now, but long term it will not and may not work, because every plan you have may not turn out the way you have it, right? It's just a plan and an unforeseen goal, or where it's going to end up. So that's my point, is that human nature is that we like to be comfortable, but you have to be courageous to be able to disrupt the traditions and what we're accustomed to in order to provide a better service, or something that's safer, more effective, more efficient, more cost effective in the entirety of the fire service.
And I think, to add to Chief's point, the phrase probably is better stated: humans hate change when you don't address their emotions prior to change. Because that's what I heard just Chief talk about, is anytime, well, just take the fire service. We don't really deal with that emotional arena well. We almost actually ignore it. And so I think change is always abrupt and it's always resisted when you don't enter into that emotional conversation about people's feelings regarding the change. Not the outcome, just how they feel about change coming. And we can throw any issue on the table that we talk about in the fire service without addressing the emotions of it. We ignore where people are at with the idea of it. And there comes resistance. And so I think, better stated, is people will always resist change and they will always hate where they are in regards to change unless you talk about the emotions around change.
I once heard, if you always do what you always done, you're going to always get what you always got. You always get what you always got, you're going to always be what you always been. If you always be what you always been, you're going to always do what you always done. If you always do what you always done, you're going to always get what you always got. Why? Because if nothing changes, no thing changes.
I'm just the mic drop there for you, man. Holy smokes. I mean, unfortunately, we have to end this in a couple minutes here, and we got Dr. Lori coming in and some other members, but this was amazing. And I think we are due for another one, maybe even later today or tomorrow. And I love you guys, but maybe kind of final comments from you. I mean, if you guys could leave any sort of thoughts, words of wisdom to aspiring fire service members, or any sort of quote or something that you could leave us with here, kind of give you guys all a minute each to kind of leave us with something that, you've been thinking about when you're on the walk, or just something that's really boiling in your brain that you could leave us with here today. Whoever wants to go first.
No, you got it.
I just, it seems simple, but it's kind of difficult. Change can be painful. Change is difficult, but change is necessary. Anything that doesn't change is going to become obsolete and become unnecessary. So I would just encourage folks to, if you have the opportunity to be different, to be an agent of change, to think differently, and you know it, to obey your conscience. Your conscience is going to tell you when you're doing something that you're not supposed to be doing. And so, so it's one thing to ask someone to change, but on the other side of that, I also have to be the type of person that can help to lead somebody through that change. So the folks that need to change. And there's some people who can help those people change, and they both have a part to play. And then so be the change on either side.
Gandhi said, be the change you want to see.
Say it in Indian.
I can't say it in English. I think for me, the fire service has got to really focus on looking at emotional intelligence, because I think that is the nugget that holds us back, because it's the arena we ignore. And they say people move progress, but emotions move people. So we have to deal with that. And then last thing I would say is just, let's not provide lip service about providing community service. Let's really try to reflect and inject ourselves in the community we're supposed to serve and ask them what they need instead of dictate what they get. Because our community has changed so many times around us, and we're slow to react to that, because from my vantage point, we're too often trying to tell them what they need instead of asking them what they need and what does service look like to them, because that's who we truly are supposed to serve.
What's that, Marshall? Chief, to run us out?
Yeah, I'll keep it simple. Just if you're going to talk about it, be about it. It's easy to politic and say the right thing. You can talk about diversifying your department. You could talk about how safe you want to be. You could talk about how effective you want to serve. It's easy to say it, but you got to be about it. And so many times I've heard people in general just say, this is what I'm going to do, or I'm going to support this effort or this value, and the actions don't reflect that. So if you're going to talk about it, be about it. If you're going to be a fire chief and you're going to talk about the importance of diversity and the importance of safety and wellness, you got to be about it. And it's easy to say it, but it's really hard to act on it. But if you're going to commit to this role, you got to commit. So if you're going to talk about it, be about it.
Man, it's gonna be hard for Dr. Laura to one up this one.
No,
No,
Dr.
she's
Laura's
got,
looking
no,
good.
Yeah, she'll do fine.
This was a great impromptu conversation. I think we got to do more on the IDELP side within the IFC realm. So you guys, I really appreciate the leadership and the insights you shared with me today. And yeah, I got goosebumps a few times there. So I just appreciate everything you guys are doing.
Thank you, brother. We appreciate it. Hey, one last thing. Shout out to Chief Wolford, going to be taking over on Saturday. We got your back, sis. You're amazing. You've done the work, the pre-work. And so we're looking forward to seeing what happens over this next year, talking about being a change. And we know that you're going to be able to do it. So we got your back.
Excited for
Thanks
Chief
for this
Wolford.
time.
Hey, thank you very much.
Appreciate you.
All right.
All right, guys.